If you enjoy farm podcasts, then tune into Carrot Cash Flow for all things farm business. Join us as we explore the latest trends, tips, and stories from market farmers running businesses just like yours. Whether you're a seasoned farmer or just starting out, our podcast has something for everyone. Listen in and grow with us. Available on all major podcast platforms. Don't miss out. Subscribe to Carrot Cash Flow today. So I want to introduce people to the idea of the type of compost you make. At its core, what are the base principles around the compost that you're using?
The method that we developed maintains four key factors on this. It's aerobic. It always has oxygen. The way the bioreactor is designed with the columns up the middle, you're never more than 6 to 12 inches from ambient air. So it's a completely aerobic process. It's a process that operates at about 70% moisture content. That's critical. It's undisturbed. You never turn it. You don't need to. As long as it's aerobic, as long as you have the 70% moisture content, the biodegradation process goes forward, and it seems to increase in diversity, the microbial diversity, the longer that you let it go. Also, we employ worms in it. So it is a vermicompost as well. And the worms, we only put in about 100 worms, the red wigglers, at just after it gets down past 80 degrees Fahrenheit, so you don't cook them. And they will, about 100 of those will populate that pile completely by the time it's done, and it'll be full of baby worms. And the ending texture is a lot like clay. You know, you can squeeze it between your fingers. You can squish it into a ball when it's done. And the microbial community is pretty impressive. When I do metagenomics on it, we see about 2,700 species of bacteria. We see probably 400 to 500 species of fungi. So that's another thing, that's having it 70% moisture content, having it aerobic. That allows fungi to proliferate. And you end up with a significant number of fungal spores, because over that year, you start to consume all the energy resources in that compost. So what does a fungi do when it runs out of food in its environment? It'll sporulate so it can live when conditions are better. So we see a significant number of spores. And that's what we're putting in with the extract, is we're seeing spores of fungi and also a lot of bacteria. So it's restoring that community through that process.
With a clay-like texture at the end of it, I think that's different than a lot of compost you see people buy that looks more like, say, kind of mulchy. It still has identifiable bits of organic matter in it. It would have a different hand feel, more loose, kind of friable. What are the big differences you see in Johnson-Su Bioreactor compost versus traditional compost? If you just drive to the landscape yard near you and they sell compost, what are the differences in those methods?
Well, the methodology, they're turning that compost several times in the first week. So the fungal community never really gets to develop. And every time they turn it, the system reheats up. So you don't go through that phase. In this composting method that we use, you're through the thermophilic phase or that heating phase within a week, and the temperature starts to go down. And it depends on what you put into it. As far as how high the temperature goes, the more nitrogen you put in there, the higher the temperature will go and the longer it will stay. But normally, the heating phase is 4 to 5 days. After that first week, you're pretty much through, and the temperature will start going down. And this whole system allows that fungal community to dominate. So you don't see that in turned compost, because every time they turn it, they destroy all the fungal hyphae. I mean, you can see this within 24 hours after you fill that bioreactor. In the method that we use, you can go and you can start to pull the organic matter that you put in apart, and you can see all these hyphae, both of the fungi and the actinomycetes, just completely populated the pile. So, you know, the pipes that we put in the middle, I think there's 6 pipes that we put in there. after 24 hours, you can pull those out. I mean, the hyphae from the actinomyces seeds and the fungi have completely threaded that pile together. So you have a column once you pull those pipe out that doesn't collapse. Now, as it matures, the whole system will start to fold in on itself. You'll end up with something that looks like a very rich, dark chocolate cake at the end. And if you grab it and have any moisture in it, you can squeeze it, and it does just meld together like clay. That's what we're observing in the compost process.
I think one of the biggest comments I've seen on the one that I built was a lot of people have suggested, add this to it, add that to it. They're all nitrogen sources, and they're all saying, do this and it'll speed it up. And they're missing the point here that the goal isn't fast results. The goal is the right results, and that just takes time. So if you did try to speed this up by adding fish emulsion or whatever to it, what are you trading off? What are you missing?
That's a good question. I tried at the beginning on some other, before we developed this, by trying to add nitrogen to the system to speed it up. It failed. And what I see is, a lot of the resources I use to make these piles are very low in nitrogen. I mean, you're talking leaves, 50 to 60 to 1 or higher. And I saw that the benefit of this, allowing the system to fix its own nitrogen with free-living nitrogen fixing bacteria, you start to develop those community of microbes that can do that. And I saw there's plenty of nitrogen in the composting process because I see a lot of free-living nitrogen fixers. That community develops very strongly in these composts. I've got the metagenomic data that I can show you. Well, this group right here, they're free-living. And they're a major component of the system. So I think the more you can leave it alone and let nature take its course, it's like a good wine or a good cheese or good bread. All of these, it's a system that you kind of let nature do what she's done for millions of years. And the results seem to show a much better compost.
Today's episode is brought to you by Modern Grower, a proud retailer of the Sumi Soaker system. The Sumi Soaker system is an irrigation game changer. It offers multiple advantages for market gardeners. Even gentle watering without dry spots common with wobblers. The system is lightweight and portable, so you can use it with quick rotation crops. It's low maintenance with no parts to break or clog. It's versatile. You can use it for direct seeding, transplants, and cover crops. And it's very cost effective compared to overhead options. And maybe one of its best and most unique features is it can put down water in a rectangular pattern, which is very different than rotating sprinklers that leave circular patterns, often with dry corners and overwatered centers. If you want to learn more about the Sumi Soaker system, use the link below or visit us at shop.moderngrower.co.